The XFL Gambling Podcast Week 10 reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Yes, Shady Rays is having the best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. We're also brought to you by SGPN's NFL Draft Week. Yes, all week long, SGPN has you covered with draft props, mock drafts, and our live NFL draft watch party. So make sure to smash that subscribe button at youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Is this or is it not the XFL? Yes, it is. Do I or do I not currently have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football.
This is the XFL.
Welcome, folks, to the XFL Gambling Podcast Week 10 reaction show. We made it through 10 weeks of extreme football, and now we have the playoffs. If you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to, well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Don D. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
I'm dying in this fucking country-ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck? I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out this country, mother.
10 weeks down just like that. And June Jones and Danucci were balls flying everywhere in Seattle today. What a weekend of extreme football as we load up for the playoffs. I am joined by my co-host, the host of the Bottom Line Bob's podcast. Make sure you're subscribed to that because, I mean, come on, people. It is a fantastic. They call him the man in the box, all right? And look, I don't know if were you out of town this weekend too?
I was in this is Colorado, staying at the Stanley Hotel, the inspiration for The Shining, where Stephen King wrote The Shining, and they show the exterior, and then there's creepy hallways and go. So I got a lot of demons inside of me that I brought back that came in my luggage.
Oh, I like it, buddy. I like it. I'm curious to see if you had any horror stories, but give it up for CJ Sullivan. I can't find your sound drop, but how you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. Like I said, the Danucci almost did it. I mean, he did do Danucci things today. He was doing the party, and just when everyone was celebrating the party, he tried to ruin it, doing it everybody eats, still interception end zones. But luckily, none of it matters because no one is still even sure what the tiebreaker rules were. So they said, why not get Seattle through? I mean, amazing.
ESPN was even showing the wrong playoff scenarios, essentially.
Yeah.
Like the wrong tiebreakers. Absolutely fucking hilarious. We are joined by third man in the booth, the host of the Old Fashioned Football Podcast, which you should be subscribed to, and the NFL Gambling Podcast. Give it up for Liquid Lunch, a.k.a. JMark. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I think ESPN was showing the wrong thing because the XFL changed it last minute, right? They're like, who do we really want to get into the playoffs? We need to.
I don't know. I tell you what, though, either way, I want a St. Louis watch party, even for the playoffs. I want McCarron at that BW3 or whatever, and Coach Tony Meatball with the kids, with the AJ McCarron's kids can watch him not be in the playoffs again. It was great. I just want that viewing party should be every week.
Yeah, absolutely fucking hilarious. I see the wings on the table, and well, so let's go through it. Let's go through it, folks. I guess first we should announce the playoffs, and then we'll go through each game. But we have Saturday, the Arlington Renegades taking on the Houston Roughnecks, which we just saw earlier today. It was Caleb Ellaby was playing, but we'll get to that in a second. Then on Sunday, we got the Seattle Seahorses at the DC Defenders. And So that's two games. I like how they split them up 2 different days. I can watch both. And then remember the Extreme Cup is on Saturday, May 13th. So for some reason they give the teams an extra week off. But that's the playoffs. Are you surprised at any of those outcomes, guys?
I mean, it could have went either way. I thought, especially with just when we thought Arlington was playing. I mean, who knows what Arlington just threw out there? But Jack Cohn, I'll tell you what, kind of sad our 50-1 shot didn't get in there with Jack. Jack Cohn is hot. As much as we hate him, they should have beat DC playing their full starters. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and they didn't though. They find ways to lose games.
They did.
As the defenders just come down. I thought when San Antonio scored, I thought it was just going to be a crushing drive all the way back. Not the case, and then obviously they missed a field goal to win the game. But let's start off with the first game here on the slate. Battlehawks 53, the first 50 burger put up by a team.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, why wasn't Quentin Dormady starting this game, guys?
Well, they wanted to see what Francois has. Like they don't know what he has. You've seen it, Buckley.
Yeah, you only beat you are responsible for the only loss on the DC Defenders schedule. This league doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, one team only wins one game the whole season against the best team. I mean, I guess it's probably happened in NFL history too, but it's still. I don't understand why you wouldn't be starting Dormady. I was perplexed at that.
Yeah. And it was comical. As soon as they put Dormady in there, he throws a 50-yard touchdown on the very first play. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we could have been doing that, sure, but we still got to see what Francois has. Yeah, Francois has 2 interceptions. That's what he has in the first half.
Now, the Battlehawks did put up 493 yards of offense. So
unbelievable.
That might be I think there was over 500 once or twice, but
so they're number 1 in your offensive power rankings this week.
Probably the best. Yeah, they want. It's only fitting that they if you put up that many yards of offense, you should not be in the extreme playoffs. So only fitting that they are not. But JMark, what do you make of this game?
Yeah, it was interesting. The Battlehawks, obviously, they showed up knowing they have to score a lot, and they did that. It's as somebody who's been on the Battlehawks since the beginning. It's unfortunate that they're out, but they played good football. Can't fault them for that. Orlando's defense, obviously not that great, but to put up the points they did, the big plays they made, they were very motivated to show up.
Did the XFL?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, isn't it more painful to just watch it? They're like, why aren't you doing this every week? Why don't you have this attitude every week that hey, we got to put up a lot of points to do it and be motivated? Oh, we were motivated this week. Great. Well,
did the XFL get it right by getting the best 4 teams in the playoffs?
No, of course.
Did you say they get it right?
I mean, St. Louis would be in the playoffs if
they're better than Houston and Arlington, right?
St. Louis is better than all of them on the other side.
That kind of sucks the way that's
yeah, for sure.
I mean, look, I who knows? They might have been able to win an Extreme Cup. I don't know. I mean,
no one wants to play the Battlehawks right now.
I know Seattle fucked them up in the dome, and same with same with DC. But I mean, I don't know. When you put up the first 50 spot in extreme football, it's crazy they're not in the playoffs. So I don't know if you're a fan of the Battlehawks, are you pissed off? I think so, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump over to the next game because that game was just hilarious in a way because I'm sitting there thinking they're going to get in, but I wasn't sure the tiebreaker even though you had sent me that stuff, JMark. I feel like they changed it. When did they change it? They changed those rules. I kept every time I would refresh Twitter, I'm seeing a different scenario where they would score different points, and I'm like, wait. Is this the one we discussed on the show, or is this different?
Well, I sent you guys the one on Wednesday, and I swear when I checked it, I think Friday, it was different on XFL's website. So I don't know.
Yeah, they got a better graphic, but they were. It felt like they were changing it mid-game today with the Seattle game. Like, I mean, seriously, they'd say the scenario. Okay, Seattle gets a 34, then they're in. All right, they don't need to do it, but they just got to keep Vegas from scoring. Then Vegas scores. All right, they're in. What?
Yeah, it made no sense.
What's going on?
Yeah, I was perplexed the whole fucking weekend.
They even kept saying, like, 34 is that magic number. They're trying to get there. Well, they didn't get there, and they're still in. I don't get it.
And I get it. I did get it. I'm like, okay, if they shut him out or whatever they said, then that was the first rule. If they shut him out, then nothing to worry about. Then they got a field goal. Okay, then they just got to keep him from scoring within, like, just don't have him score again. Then they score again. All right, we'll crunch numbers. We'll get back to you. And then then they announced it, like, in the stands, like, after the game. All right, and the fans are just told that, yep, that was good. They won. They're in the playoffs. Okay, this all seems legit. All right.
Yeah, watch it be wrong, and tomorrow they announce, sorry, we actually meant the Battlehawks were in.
Yeah, little Yahoo stat correction, like in fantasy. They come back.
Exactly.
That's like the old college football championships with the polls. It's like us 7 teams are 11-1 at the end of the season, but we only have one national champion. Look, before we get to the next game, I want to tell you that we're brought to you by Shady Rays. Yes, our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much, much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company that offers truly a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair of sunglasses you've ever worn in your life. They got durable frames. They got extremely clear optics for all those outdoor adventures. Now that the XFL season's winding down, you're planning your summer. All right. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the absolute most insane protection in all of eyewear. Look, every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. So let's say you were at the Battle Dome Saturday and you had a few too many Molsons, started talking some trash to, some Orlando Thunder or Orlando Guardian fans. Orlando Thunder was old World League. And out of nowhere, some guy happens to punch you in the face while you have your sunglasses on in the Battle Dome. All right. And your Shady Rays are broken. Well, look, you just go right back to Shady Rays, say, look, my glasses are broken. They're not even gonna ask, what'd you do? Did you start the fight? No. They're just going to say, boom, here's your next pair of Shady Rays. All right. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And look, with Shady Rays, you not only can look good, but you can feel good because they have donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. Getting it done. All right. So right now, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. So do that and let it ride, baby. All right. We are back on the XFL Gambling Podcast. Guys, game 2, DC 29, San Antonio 28. There was drama. Came down to a missed kick. This kicker was money all year.
He was their best player all year. Yeah. John Parker, Roma, whatever. He was great. Literally, like I said, like when they say, "Oh, they wouldn't be there if it wasn't for him all year." Like that actually is true about San Antonio. The kicker was literally the only player they had all year, so it's kind of fitting that he missed it for the season to get in the playoffs.
True, and I was shocked because DC did outgain them. So St. Louis outgained Orlando 1, DC outgained San Antonio in 1, and suddenly we're starting to see the yardage play a role. But it's almost amazing because get this. DC averaged 8.5 yards per play. Jack Cohn and the Brahmas averaged 4.9. How the hell was this game even close? Regardless, the defenders just seemed so dominant. Remember, San Antonio took the lead with 3-4 minutes left, something like that. And you're thinking, oh, man, can they do this? No, DC flexed right after that, went right down the field, scored on them, and then, ended up hanging on to win the game. What'd you make of this one, CJ?
First of all, shout out to a Puka Williams sighting in that game as he almost brought a kickoff to the house, brought it all the way back to the 5. I didn't even know he's back on DC because who knows where these transactions happen under the news. They love keeping the news under wraps just like they do these playoff tiebreaker systems. But it was amazing. Like I said, San Antonio was coming in. Jack Cohn played pretty well down the stretch the last couple games, and he looked good. Their defense is opportunistic. They had a big interception score before halftime to get them back into it, and that's where the yardage discrepancy kind of happened. But it's just amazes me, and I get it that that's the way DC runs, but to play all their starters all the way through, I just don't understand. I mean, the only thing I do understand, the answer to that is Reggie Barlow. He's just a madman. So he just plays them all the way through, and and they keep winning. But like, I don't know. I would not have played the starters all the way through.
Yeah, I probably would have sat them too, but I don't know. JMark, what'd you make of that game?
It's interesting to me. This is let's see. Sorry, I'm blanking here. It's interesting that the running game was not the forte this week, right? And I think it just, as much as I have wanted to be against this DC team because my Tamu feelings and everything from how he treated me last year in fantasy for the USFL, it just goes to show, I think this is the most well-rounded team, right? They can beat you with the run. They can beat you with the pass. They can beat you just with a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to make them very difficult for any team to get past them in the playoffs or the championship.
And if you watch the USFL this weekend where Todd Haley put a nice scorching 2 points up on the board, I think it might have been more about Todd Haley than it was Jordan Ta'amo. But yeah, DC just looks so fucking good, man. It's going to be interesting to see if Seattle can pull the upset in DC. Remember, they were at the 1 yard line week 1, and Danuch fumbled as they were about to get the dub in the lemon party. So
Haslett reminded Stormy in the post-game conference today, press interview, like playing DC. He reminded him, hey, we fumbled on the 1, and we went for 2 the last time. So he also didn't know half the rules during the game, but
And Nick Fortune says, stop hating on the DC defenders. That's right.
Can't help it.
Yeah.
Can't help it sometimes, but
they're
good.
If you're like me, now I understand that me and CJ probably had futures on 5 teams in the league at one point, but I have a future on 3 of the 4 playoff teams, so I'm dancing here.
I only have DC in Seattle, but I feel like that's a free roll because I think whoever wins that's just winning the championship anyway.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, I can't help myself in placing bets when odds are changing throughout the season. So I do have bets on all 4 teams in. The only one that doesn't profit me is if Houston wins. The other ones, they'll all profit based on what I've bet on futures, but just because of when I've grabbed them.
You grab some. You grab some week 2 Houston lines, huh?
Yeah, right.
All right, look, before we get to the next game, I want to tell you folks that the XFL Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, the NBA and NHL playoffs are here, and what better way to get down on some player prop parlays than over at Underdog Fantasy? Besides the daily NHL, NBA, and MLB games, they've also got NFL best ball drafts with a guaranteed $500,000 in prizes. And yes, they do have XFL stuff. So get on over there. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by the NFL Draft Props Contest. Yes, part of Sports Gambling Podcast's or Sports Gambling Podcast Network's Draft Week. SGPN is holding a free NFL Draft Props Contest exclusively for our members on our Discord. Yes, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. It's completely free to join, and the winner gets $250 in cash and a $50 SGPN gift card. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord and go to the NFL channel for the sign-up link. All right, folks, so do that, and remember, as always, to let it ride. All right, we're back talking extreme football. The game today, and I got to be honest, I did not watch much of this game because I didn't need to. I felt like this game was useless. I had it on, but I just wasn't really paying that close attention. I saw Club Ellaby was in the game. I saw Jeremy Cox had a big game for the Roughnecks. I feel like they haven't ran the ball like that ever. So there was that. But yes, the Roughnecks just beat down the Renegades. I don't know how much stock to put into this game, but they won 25-9. Did we learn anything going in the next week on this, CJ?
No, we did say, we did a couple of things that Houston was, if we were going to pick a side, which why we gave out Houston is because they needed to get some momentum. I don't know if this actually entails it. It's the first time they scored, 25, I guess, back to back. The highlight for me was just seeing Wade Phillips get knocked down, everyone rushing to his side, and then when he popped back up and when I cheered, everyone started cheering. That was to see Parade Phillips back in action like that. That was the highlight. But yeah, nothing to say from the game. I mean, these guys, we knew they weren't going to show anything, especially if this game meant nothing. If San Antonio lost, which is what happened. They stay in the same hotel, the same condo, whatever. They're playing each other next week. I mean, it's just like, so you weren't going to be able to see anything. So I don't know if Houston gets an edge. I would like to have seen a little more from Arlington. That goal line stand wasn't pretty bad when they kicked the field goal from the fourth. I mean, it was just.
Cole McDonald was 10 of 11 for 120 and an interception. About 11 yards of completion, so stretching the ball down the field some. But once again, I don't know if they kept it very vanilla. I just don't know how much to put into this.
Did you hear the announcer do the Cole McDonald EIEIO thing, by the way?
You're stealing your bit, man.
I'm not saying, I'm happy for the listenership and all, but
yeah, I mean, look, whoever that announcer was,
toss a little credit out there.
I was about to say, whoever that announcer was, go ahead and use it, but just give us 5-star review on iTunes, all right?
Yeah, that's all we ask.
Review. Or a 1-star. We get a lot of 1-stars too, so I appreciate that. JMark, did anything in this game sway you to say, man, Houston's going to just destroy them next week, or are you putting any stock into the outcome?
Well, let me be 100% honest. I was outside in 47-degree weather watching a college baseball game, which really felt like football weather, sitting there in the bleachers, shivering with the cold wind, but it's Iowa, so what do you do? So I didn't get a lot of eyes on this. I watched some highlights, and I looked at the stats, and I would say no. I don't think Arlington or Houston really put all their cards out on the field, right? I mean, they didn't give it their all. It was a nothing game. They all knew it. Like CJ said, we said Houston needed a win. They needed some momentum to go. That's why we like them. But I think it's, each team is 0-0 next week, and it's going to be a completely different ball game.
And surprisingly, Houston won the yardage too. So teams that won the yardage actually went 3-0. And I believe 4-0, because we'll get to the next game, because I don't feel like there's a lot to talk about in the Houston-Arlington game. I really don't.
Not at all. The Wade Phillips highlights all you need to see in that game.
Yeah. Seattle 28, Vegas 9. Of course, I played Jalen McClendon and DFS, and that NC State trash goes 6 for 21.
Now he's trash.
I feel like I can go 6 for 21 in the Extreme Football League. But they also got outgained by about 230 yards. Vegas's offense was flying. What happened here? They just lay down.
They kind of did. It was kind of what was Rod Woodson? I mean, it was Rod Woodson, I guess, but like running the ball, it seemed like they were just fine with just get this thing over with.
I don't understand it much, but Seattle, actually, this was kind of like close in the first half, I feel like, but then they opened that thing up, in the third, kind of Ja'Cour Pearson deep ball. This game was fun to watch at that point. But 28-9.
Right. And who knows? I guess that's good enough to get in. I mean, that's what was making it exciting for me, I thought, to watch again. Like, will they get to this magic number? Can they keep Vegas from scoring? Like, that was something to root for,
Well, if you
remember, then they're like, well, none of it mattered. We were just making it up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you remember when we did our show, I think the magic number was 19, wasn't it?
They had to beat them by 19.
Which they did.
What was it?
Exactly 19, right?
I don't remember what it was. Something like that.
But then St. Louis's 54 have changed it anything. But the play, that didn't change anything. St. Louis scoring 54 with a point differential.
Yeah, no, that's what it was when we talked about it. St. Louis had to beat Orlando by 19 more points than Seattle beat Vegas by.
Okay, all right.
That's what it was.
What did St. Louis win by?
20? I'm gonna have to pull it back up here.
52-30 or something, right? 52-28.
They missed a field goal at the buzzer. I know they missed a field goal at the buzzer. I know that.
53-28, so 25 points.
And then the post-game handshake, it was Coach Tony Meatball having to tell Terrell Buckley what the rules were. Like, I wasn't trying to write it up, right? Buckley's like, I don't know. We stopped caring weeks ago. We don't give a shit.
We don't even have 11 on the field.
All right.
I mean, all right. Well, I mean, let's power rank this.
We got to talk about real quick though about the Seattle game before we move on. That play though was kind of great. The when Vegas did score the touchdown when they fumbled it through the end zone, it was like Leon let Don Beebe type play, you know, and I knew the rule that they changed that rule that it wasn't going to be a touchback, you know. But you could tell nobody else of the players or coaches knew, you know, they're all about saying touchback, you know, touchback. And I obviously it's a good rule change. It shouldn't be a touchback unless my stipulation is in that scenario. If you're hot dogging it, Leon Letts style, then it should be an automatic touchback and maybe even points for the other team. And it's kind of explain it to Jim Haslett. Like, there's no way Jim Haslett was going to learn this explanation that there was a different rule. He wanted a penalty because a punt went out of bounds. He's like, why?
I saw that.
Like, what? The ref's like, what? That's never been a rule. I don't care what league you're talking about.
The Nooch threw for 339. And look, I'll be honest, man. I'm one of these ones maybe on the other side. I feel like everyone I talk to loves the that rule if it goes out of bounds, but I actually like I see both sides of it. This is one I'm not extremely passionate about, but I do like the fact that you got to take better care of the ball right around the goal line. There's something to that is appealing to me. Okay. But fair. I mean, I feel like most people, I'm definitely in the minority on that one, I feel like. But, I mean, Ben DiNucci, 41 yards, 10 on the ground, 10.3 yards a rush. Those for 339. Of course, gives 2 interceptions there for fun.
Critical ones, too. Like, for the 34 point, like, the score to 34. All you do is the 6-34 from the 2-yard line. And then you just got to take a knee pretty much with 2 minutes to go. And he gives it a ball back, and Vegas scores immediately. It was like, what? The Nooch just can't help but be the Nooch everybody eats.
Well, that made it for high drama if we had known the true playoff scenario.
Right.
Because I was like, wait. I was like, if he's giving them the ball back, is it in doubt? And it seemed like the announcers were just as confused as we were. So I don't know, but it was fun. Is Seattle gonna win it all, JMark?
I can't see him beating that DC team when DiNucci turns the ball over to no matter who he's playing. I think DC's got the weapons to capitalize on that, the coaching to capitalize on that. And
the team 3 times in a season.
It is. Yeah. But I think DC is better than when they play them. Like DC just keeps improving, it seems like.
Yeah.
And also, they really hate. And is June Jones doing a personal attack for anyone taking Philip Lindsay for their DFS? He's giving the tight end runs they're tight end carries today. The hell are they doing?
Very fair. My DFS lineup was ass this week. But I don't know. I mean, CJ, do you think Seattle live dog in DC when
of course they're a live dog. I mean, they're a great team, and they're the second best team. DC is number 1, Seattle's number 2, and like I said, it's the third time they're playing, and both games came down to the 2-point conversion was the last game that was in Seattle, and we all remember that was the first game of the season, the birth of the everybody eats DiNucci of taking a knee, and they made him run option, and which I don't blame DiNucci on that. What are you making DiNucci run option for? What are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, he is a little more agile than I remember him being on Dallas, but
but I will say this about DC: they very easily could have lost to San Antonio playing their starters. They lost to Orlando. I mean, their defense is, and especially their secondary, is very susceptible and getting worse as the season goes on. So they're vulnerable for sure. This isn't going to be a show. This will be I imagine. I don't know if the lines are out yet, but I imagine it's in DC. I imagine the line will be around 3.5.
And we will be recording Wednesday at 1:30 Pacific our XFL playoff preview and picks episode and DFS. So make sure you schedule that thing to tune in there, folks. YouTube.com XFL Gambling Podcast. Subscribe. Let's talk a little power rankings here. Final power rankings, guys. So I'm going all yardage based. Best team in the league is Orlando, right? Second best team is St. Louis. No, I'm joking.
Nope, I already wrote it down. That's your set.
DC's all number 1 because even when you think they're gonna lose, they don't lose. DC gets my vote. Are we all unanimous here?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So at team 2, I feel like this is an easy one. We all have Seattle, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Team 3, I feel like we all have St. Louis, but CJ is the big X factor here because I feel like he was buying into the Vegas Vipers Fang Gang. Right?
Oh man, well, I mean, now I wouldn't even mind putting Orlando around there, but you can't trust those lunatic coaches. It is kind of funny if you look at the 4 coaches that did not make the playoffs. Led by Tony Peebo of Buckley, Woodson, Hines Ward, and Tony.
All 4
Peebo.
former players,
right? Just players who've never coached before, really, at a big level.
I'm putting St. Louis at number 3 to me.
Yeah, of course, St. Louis is 3. I don't mean no doubt about it.
At 4, despite the outcome today, I'm going Arlington.
Yeah, I can't. Arlington just gave me the same vibe. I know Perez, and they've played better the last couple of weeks. We were high on them, but that was just so gross. And just watching, I actually have San Antonio as 4th team to bust it out. San Antonio, I think out of Arlington, Houston, San Antonio, I would not want to face the Brahmas right now. I'm telling you. They should have beat DC at home with their blessings on the line.
I know the players were in, but how much, I don't know. How much were they caring about that game? So you have San Antonio 4.
San Antonio, 4th best team in this XFL league.
I love it. Love it. For number 5 for me, I will go Houston, I guess.
Yeah.
Give me Houston, JMark.
Yeah, I got Houston as well. I don't know if they're playing to that level to deserve that, but they're one of the teams in the playoffs, so I feel like you have to kind of put them up there, not at the bottom anymore.
Vote of confidence from JMark.
Yeah, right. Sorry to our listener, Coach Kobo. I'm sure he cringed.
I know.
Come on, they should be top 4.
Coach Kobo, you have nothing to apologize for. You guys will probably be in a goddamn championship game.
Yeah, probably win the whole Extreme Cup.
Right.
CJ, what do you? You're going Houston at 5?
I went San Antonio 4, Houston 5. Correct.
So at 6, I'm assuming you have Arlington.
Yeah, I did do Arlington, even though I do believe Orlando and Vegas are probably better teams. But there's their coaches hold them back. They're absolute fucking lunatics, those guys. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So Arlington, what did they finish? 4 and 6 in the playoffs. So for
what's
me,
San Antonio? 2 and 8. They're my 4th team, I think.
Yeah, absolutely hilarious. I'm going to listen to you though. I'm going to put San Antonio at number 6, right?
Absolutely, dude.
JMark, what are you doing at 6?
I've got Orlando. I know it was crazy with them rolling out Francois. That's a bad coaching thing. I don't think that's a reflection on this team. So I'm still keeping them up there. I guess not up there, but they're top of the bad.
Top of the bad. That's a good. That's a good cat. That's a good segment.
You sold me on them being number 7 for me. So give me Orlando at number 7.
Yeah.
CJ,
that's why I got Orlando 7. That's on a high upsell. Don't forget.
And JMark, you got Orlando where? I'm sorry, you got who number 7? You have Orlando? No, right?
No, he just had Orlando 6.
Orlando 6 and 7 and 8. No, San Antonio is 7.
San Antonio beat Orlando 2 weeks ago.
And 8.
That's fair.
Vegas. Do we all have Vegas 8?
Yeah, Vegas 8 for sure. That was a disgrace today. By the way,
preseason. I told you they were the 10th team out of 8, didn't I?
Oh,
look at you. Everyone's personal vendettas come back around. You know what? That's what today's game was. Everyone's original feelings. Colby with the McClendon. His original hate for him turned out to be correct. Now he's a piece of trash.
Yeah.
JMark, and they're all their quarterbacks in Vegas.
Ransacking my DFS lineup.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this for a second, since we've already power rated everything.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about Rod Woodson coaching the Vegas Vipers, Fang Gang, next year.
Do they even have a stadium now that the Oakland A's are coming in? They need a minor league ballpark for a year too. I think they might have to. They have to find the room at the Rio or something.
No,
like
you know what they need. Why are they not playing at what's it called? UNLV's old stadium. I'm drawing a blank on the name of it right now.
The Stacey Augmon Dome or whatever.
Sam Boyd. Sam Boyd was a COVID testing site. Maybe that's why they couldn't, but that's a fantastic stadium. That's better than the Raider Stadium. They should go play there. UNLV played football there for a long time. The original XFL what were they? The Las Vegas Outlaws played there.
Mm-hmm. The Anderson Hunt Arena.
I want predictions. Shout out to Anderson Hunt.
Yes.
Rod Woodson back next year? Yes or no?
I mean, it's up to him probably. That's the thing about it. As bad as he is, it sounds like they're going to fire him to replace him with a different, better coach. He's like,
I think he's out.
He's the name, but I can see him going. But he might want to come back at it. But I mean, yeah.
Is Hines Ward back next? Or no, JMark, you think Rod Woodson's back?
Listen, this is about the intersection of talent and opportunity. They're going to keep giving him the opportunity
right.
to coach. The Rock's not going to fire him after one season.
Yeah, it's Vegas. They'll give him a marker, chase those losses, get your money back, and let's see if we can break even next year.
Exactly.
Hines Ward in San Antonio next year. I say yes. TJ?
Yeah. Like I said, like these are the names that they brought in. Like these are the XFL names, like the celebrity coaches, whatever, who have an opportunity. So it's up to them, and I feel like he liked it. Like, hey, they're my 4th ranked power rank team. He did a good job as far as I'm concerned. They were coming on towards the end, much like the Steelers. You know, they're kind of like that vibe. So I think Hines Ward is coming back.
Trey the Wave says, how did Sea Dragon made the playoffs?
Still unconfirmed.
How scoring system? I have no fucking idea, but they're in.
I figured it out.
Yeah, what's that?
So I figured it out. So going into this weekend, we said Battlehawks had to beat Guardians by 19 more points than Sea Dragons beat Vegas by. That didn't happen.
Okay. What did St. Louis win by?
Battlehawks won by 25. Vegas won by 19. So they only beat them by 6 more points than or not Vegas won. Sorry. Sea Dragons beat Vegas.
So none of that shit mattered today, basically. Yeah. like the last touchdown, they didn't hit 34. Vegas had to score like 28 points.
Yeah.
Good God. Did they know that? Tell them that. Why aren't they going onside after they scored too? You know, what the fuck's going on? Orlando's going for 1. They've been eliminated since Thanksgiving. What are these?
They're going for 1 the whole year.
Yeah, going for 1.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Hold on. So I'm curious there. Okay, so that's what happened. But I'm curious your take on Tony Meatball back in St. Louis.
Nah, he's lovable. I mean, as much as I like to hate on Coach Tony Meatball, he did a great job. He actually did a good job. Although I wish they would play like they did last game, like when they needing to score and were like desperate. Oh, now next thing you know, he scored 50 points. But he's a character. He's probably the breakout coach character of the entire league this year. And I want him at a watch party the entire playoffs at another BW3. Tony Meatball with a whole table full of wings. And like sad Tony Meatball, like happy Tony Meatball. We got it all.
Yeah.
And I feel like the players like him a lot. Too.
I think so. Sure. I think you're right. I think they do like him. I think he's back next year. Trey the Wave says, I'm a Sea Dragons fan. I thought we were out. No, you were in. You were playing Sunday for a ticket to the Extreme Cup, buddy, in Washington, D.C.
And St. Louis just drew a bad draw as well, too. I mean, they should be in the playoffs. You know,
yeah, Trey's asking, was there a 5th tiebreaker? No, I don't believe so.
It was just that point differential.
Which they never explained. JMark just did. The league never did. Now just did. I mean, you know.
And I completely forgot until we were just talking about that 19 points. It's like, okay, now it clicked.
Yeah. Yeah. So what about let's get to Terrell Buckley. Is he back with the Orlando Guardians? I'm gonna say no on this one as well.
He's the one I say no.
Yeah, like I said, but it's also up there. But I mean, if you're objectively judging, like if there is an ownership or whatever that process is, and you look and assess what he did, there's absolutely no way he was comical of what. But
sometimes it's their decision. Like you look at the USFL.
Oh, it's all their decision. I believe at least it comes to those guys, you know.
But we lost what? Fedora, Sumlin, Kirby. No, I think the USFL actually fired Kirby Wilson.
I will say this though with Buckley. That team went off the cliff early. Like it was bad. We're like, this is going to be horrendous. Yeah. And he did, even though he only got the 1 win, he did kind of right the ship for the team. They played well, and like they beat DC, you know, and like he's like I say, it's even though in a league where they say it's the players are very motivated every week, you know, because they want to get the job, work their way back up. You can still lose them when it's that much of a shit show, which Orlando was. So he didn't lose them completely, and he righted the ship at least.
Yeah, it sounds like you're giving him Coach of the Year over there, huh?
I mean, I still have hopes. I still have hopes that our 150 to 1 ticket's going to hit.
They're announced it tomorrow. You know what? All 8 teams are playing in the playoffs.
I mean, they put up 28 on St. Louis. They were almost on at halftime. I thought they were going to win outright.
Folks, we'll be back Wednesday talking playoffs, talking about the line movement, the totals, all that good stuff. Until next time, also just hop on over and make sure that you're subscribed on YouTube to the XFL Gambling Podcast. Also, we are on Twitter at XFL Gambling Pod, I believe it is. And then make sure you check out all of our solo feeds here. All right. I host the USFL Gambling Podcast as well. Subscribe to that. We have room for many spring leagues. Let's go. CJ Sullivan's host of the Bottom Line Bombs podcast. I know they were just talking NHL, the road to the Stanley Cup, right? JMark doing the old fashioned football podcast, the NFL Gambling Podcast, talking a lot of draft stuff. I know it's a big week for you there. Check out all those podcasts. I also host the College Football Experience. We talk college football year round there. So check out that. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast and that draft that we got going on. I think you will dig it. So also, if you look, I know Trey's a fan of the Sea Dragons. Come in the Discord and talk a little Sea Dragon ball with us. All right. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Get the SGPN App Store for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. It has a lot of great content. JMark writes about spring football, NFL, all this shit all the time. He's he's like Stephen King over there, just writing shit every day. All right.
Yes. Call back to my weekend at the Shining Hotel.
And most of it is scary, but
yes.
There you go. He's got the Eye of the Dragon. Remember that one Stephen King did? You guys ever read that one? No. Look, I told you I'm an intellectual. Folks, it's been a great. I'm surprised. Were you guys surprised all 10 weeks? I mean, coming into it, I know we were all optimistic. Were you surprised the whole season, regular season finished?
Like just got there like a moon. It's kind of like a like a moon launch for us, if we just get.
Well, a lot of these leagues failed. The AAF. What was it? I don't even know how many weeks it was.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, the XFL 2.0 was 6 weeks, I think.
6. Yeah, but that was COVID though too. But I understand, and it was pretty good brand, I thought. Yeah. So and Trey says, who's getting the first pick in the XFL 2024 draft? Well, I mean, it should be Orlando based on record, but I'm sure they might find a way to give it to St. Louis. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out, folks. All right, until Wednesday, folks. Wednesday, 1:30 Pacific time. We will be back projecting the XFL playoffs. First ever XFL or 3.0 playoffs. All right. Until then, this is the XFL Gambling Podcast. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
X marks the spot. X marks the crossroads. 2 straight lines crossing over in the middle. That's the letter you must see to find the treasure or the clue or the X-ray machine that's looking right inside of you. X is the letter without which one could not do. X marks the spot.